Yeah.
to cache and JS and all that reflexing.
Mm. Okay.
I'll let you know. We can help.
Okay. Denise is the one that's dealing with that.
We can cut quite a bit.
So we're going to start with Daniel chapter 7. And I'll read chapter 7. I'll read the first few verses. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head while on his bed. Then he wrote down the dream, telling the main facts. Okay? Verse 2. Daniel spoke, saying, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of heaven were stirring up the great sea. Okay, so here we must keep in mind that at times there are things that are spoken symbolically. So here, when we look at the four winds of heaven stirring up the great sea, it involves water, right? So what would he be trying to communicate here when he's saying that that it was stirring up the great sea? Any thoughts? What are the waters representing the great sea of?
So the sea is often an allusion to chaos, to Leviathan, to the untamable, to the danger, to the reiterable problems that always occur.
Okay. Anybody else? Go ahead.
It's also including what you just said.
What Shane said, yes.
Including that, it refers also to humanity, which is what he said.
Yes.
Because humanity is fallen and it's operating by that fallen.
So very good putting the both together. What Shane said and what Denise said, and I'll read this to you. In Revelation 17:15, then he said to me, the waters which you saw where the harlot sits are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. So we have to keep this in mind that it involves humanity. And in Daniel, we know that what was written for Daniel for his time has very important application because the book is supposed to be sealed until what? The time of the end.
Can I just make one last comment?
Go ahead.
That the chaos involved in all that has to do with the duality of the truth and knowledge of the good.
Yes, definitely.
That tracks.
Okay? So here, when it says, and I saw four great beasts. Now Daniel is seeing in this dream of his four great beasts. So when he saw these four beasts, any thoughts? Anybody got any thoughts? What these four beasts here represents? Because there was something before all of this. There was four something. Anybody can think what it was?
Physical allusion to the horseman?
Pardon?
Is it we're in Old Testament, so it can't be that, right? It's
No.
the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
So when he sees these four beasts, what was before these four beasts that was in the dream?
In Daniel?
Go ahead,
In
what?
the book of Daniel?
What? Yeah, go ahead. Daniel, what? In the book of Daniel.
I don't remember either.
There was something for
Yeah,
in a dream?
yeah.
I don't remember.
They're not talking.
Well, Nebuchadnezzar had the dream of the image, and it had the gold, the silver, the
Go ahead. The
bronze,
four.
and
Four
the
kingdoms.
iron. Yeah.
See, in Daniel chapter 2, but that's what you're going to say, John? No? So in Daniel chapter 2, Nebuchadnezzar's dream involved what? The four kingdoms.
Babylon, Greece.
Okay, but there's something very important here.
No, Babylon.
The four kingdoms, here now, he's referring to, he's seeing four beasts. So there, in that image, you saw four literal kingdoms. Here, Daniel is referring to four kingdoms, but they're represented by animals, beasts. Okay? So why do you think why didn't God give Nebuchadnezzar the vision, when Nebuchadnezzar had the vision of the statue, of the image, and 4 kingdoms, okay, was in that image. Why didn't God give Nebuchadnezzar what he gives here to these 4 beasts, to Daniel? Any thoughts?
Time.
Pardon?
Time.
Time? Very good.
The word has to come out at the right time.
Okay, very good. Anything else? So in the book of Daniel, we get clear that the 4 kingdoms was revealed to to Nebuchadnezzar, the 4 kingdoms. But here now we got Daniel himself. God gives Daniel a dream, and in that dream, Daniel sees these 4 kingdoms. So what has happened? The same vision that Nebuchadnezzar had, representing 4 kingdoms, that covers up to a certain time frame. And then here we got these 4 beasts representing the same 4 kingdoms. Why do you think it was given twice? Any thoughts?
Because humans are pretty belligerent and rough at listening.
Say,
You know what?
I have to tell something. I have to be open about it. In the last few weeks, my hearing has gone so bad. I'm not making this up. It has gone so bad that now I have to do something about it. Before, even when I was looking at the face and listening, I could get it.
Maybe we just need to speak louder.
Huh?
Maybe it's because we need to speak louder.
No, that's not the problem.
I'm just teasing you because there could be a positive way of putting it.
Yes. See, any thoughts? Why is it twice in the book of Daniel representing the 4 kingdoms?
Because all humans are hard of hearing, not just you.
Oh, yeah, right, Shane.
The what?
Because all humans are hard of hearing, not just you.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a
Actually,
good point, huh?
actually, the definition of the word in the word study says that the beasts also refer collectively to those beasts in Nebuchadnezzar's dream of the tree. They're feeding on the tree.
Okay, okay.
So 3 times it's mentioned that way.
Yeah, but,
Not
okay, that's fine, if you want there.
collectively.
But see, this vision of the 4 kingdoms is so important. I mean, it is so important that God gave it to this ungodly person, Nebuchadnezzar, and then now he gives it to Daniel. 2 people. One, a pagan king, the other, this man, Daniel. The same vision of 4 kingdoms. Nebuchadnezzar's, we got all the way down till the stone came out and destroyed the whole image. But we're going to see in chapter 7, as we're going to study, something very similar to what the stone represented and what's all involved there. But I want any person got any other thoughts? Anybody got any thought? Why twice?
Does it have anything to do with the fact that in the first vision, Nebuchadnezzar's vision, it's gold, silver, so there's a gradation, and here it's just beasts? I don't know.
Okay. To make sure the significance, the importance of Nebuchadnezzar's dream and what Daniel got, it is so important that it is stated twice to fulfill a very important biblical mandate. Without 2 or more witnesses, nothing is to be certified as 100% true and authentic. Okay?
I think
The verse says, by the testimony of 2 witnesses shall something be
It's in the Old Testament.
Shall a
what it
thing
says.
be certified, not certified, but,
Confirmed, right?
yeah.
To make sure that it is understood. I'll just read
Protection
you.
against Gnosticism.
Pardon?
Protection against Gnosticism.
Yes. Okay, good. So I'll read to you from John chapter 5 and verse 31. If I bear witness, this is Jesus now speaking. If I bear witness of myself, my witness is not true. Very important. So what Jesus is saying here, that if he was the sole person that came to this earth and gave a witness, even though he is who he is, his witness will not be okay. No way it can be okay. Okay? There is another. There is another who bears witness of me. And I know that the witness which he witnesses of me is true. So what has happened here, any of us or any person in the world that is rejecting Jesus Christ and they want to know the true God, they can never know the true God except hear what Jesus has just stated. The two witnesses, okay? If I bear witness of myself, my witness is not true. There is another who bears witness of me, and I know that the witness which he witnesses of me is true. So what was Jesus' witness? And we have to keep this in mind with what we're going to look at in the book of Daniel. Verse 33. You have sent to John, and he has borne witness to the truth. Yet, and John was very, very important, because John was the forerunner of Jesus. Yet I do not receive testimony from men. So what he's saying, give me any thoughts you have here. Go ahead.
Can I go back to Nebuchadnezzar and
Yes,
Daniel?
sure.
Why twice the dream was revealed? Well, my interpretation is so different.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sitting here, I went back to the garden.
Yes.
Like, at the very beginning, when the foundation was created, Adam was in the garden and he was the pioneer. And there were so many things God the Father had, ordained him to fulfill. But, he didn't want to give him not that grace, not that chance. Did he know that Adam will fall? He knew.
Who did?
God the
Yes.
Father, he knew, right?
Yes.
He knew
Yes.
right from the beginning.
Of course.
But yet he wanted to give Adam that grace, that time to go ahead. Because God's grace is not just for the righteous. God's grace is for everybody. So Nebuchadnezzar was also given that grace by withholding that dream, by withholding that. That's not agape love, right? The grace is for everybody. Agape love is for everybody. So when I was sitting here, I got this, that he gave him that chance. He gave him, whether he accepts it or not, the choice is his, right? That's his.
Very
like
good.
Adam,
Very
that was
good.
his choice. He was revealed so many things, and he was told, don't eat from this tree. He was given that chance. Did he take that to obey? Did he follow what he was supposed to be? Same as Nebuchadnezzar. God knew that Nebuchadnezzar will take this very lightly. And he knew that Daniel is the chosen one and he will do what he was ordained for. So I don't know. That's why that was like,
Good
he
point.
didn't want to hold the grace, the mercy that he had for Nebuchadnezzar.
That can also explain quite comfortably, as I hear it from you, that the difference between how Nebuchadnezzar received the information and how Daniel received the information. Because it's the same information being transmitted from a non-temporal entity that is beyond our comprehension. And the dream state is the human flesh trying to interpret this message from God. And if Nebuchadnezzar is a pagan king, he will see four kingdoms. He will see things that are beautiful to him, because if he was going to be shown by God the true horror of his understanding, Nebuchadnezzar wouldn't even survive the dream to tell us. But Daniel, he's already further understood within the Lord. He's already further grasped within the good. So when he gets the same information, he can possibly see it more truthfully, more purely. He can see the beasts, the danger, the teeming sea, and it's the same information, but separated in time and people, so it can be interpreted by our difficulty.
That's
Wait a
really
minute.
good.
I think that's all both really good.
Yes.
I think also, like what he just said, the way that Nebuchadnezzar interpreted the dream was to create an image fully of gold representing himself,
Yeah.
right? And making everybody worship it. I see here the same principle that was in the garden of equal access. So God gave it to Nebuchadnezzar, who is a pagan king, and he gives it to Daniel. So everybody's getting the truth, but it goes through your own filter.
Yes.
So if your filter is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you're going to come up with a golden image. And if your filter is agape love, like Daniel, you're going to come up with something exactly like God meant it.
So going back to what Rashmi brought out, and I'm just going to read everything I want to confirm with Jesus. So what she said has to be confirmed with Jesus. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you, that you may be sons of your Father in heaven. Here it goes now, what Rashmi brought out. For the God Jesus was revealing, he makes his sun to rise on the evil and the good. You see? So there, Nebuchadnezzar was, even though he was an evil person, something as important as this vision was given. Why? Because that's the true God of agape love. That he even gave this to a pagan king.
Infinite forgiveness.
And then he gives it to Daniel, to the good and the evil, both. And I think that is a very important thing to look at. But I want to go back again to the two witnesses, okay? When Jesus, go ahead.
No, I think.
It's good because
Thanks, Pastor Grant. We're looking at. I was just going to focus on maybe after you finish, then I'll just comment on, because I was still stuck with the four beasts coming out of the sea.
Yes.
Yeah, but maybe.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I was just focused, like looking at what the nations were at the time, and here when we're looking at how the descriptions, like I was reading ahead as well, trying to further describe, say, each of them, these four beasts that were coming out, and I kind of, it's just in the air on what Sister Denise was saying, that these were the empires or the kingdoms that were being referred to, and how they evolved. So, like the first beast is referring to Babylon,
Yes.
and how it evolved and became mighty, and then things started to happen that was not like supposed to happen.
Yes.
The second one, the Persian kingdom, or the Medes. Third one, when we look at Greece, it just resembles like those kind of things are happening there. Fourth one, when we look at it, it's like Rome, description of how Roman Empire came about and how things. So when I look at it and try to see these four beasts, the only thing that I was able to reconcile is how are they coming out of the sea? That thing is not. It's just probably just metaphor. Or is it something like that probably is trying to say or see that I don't see?
Yeah, no, that's really good. Because see, what we're going to see, what God gave Nebuchadnezzar on the basis of equal access, gave him a certain understanding of the four kingdoms and plus going all the way down to the feet. Here, when he gives to Daniel, we will see how Daniel is given. I'm just thinking now that Nebuchadnezzar could not receive that insight that God gave Daniel. The reason is, and look, the Bible clearly teaches why. Because Jesus has said this to those, let me read this.
I think I have an answer specifically on your confusion about the sea and about the metaphor. To risk profanity, to bring it to a modern day to help the understanding of the word come into clarity. What I would say here, I'll just speak louder. What I would say here is that the sea in this case it's biblical, so it's both metaphor and real. So I'm going to focus on the metaphor to help it understand. In this case, the sea is the city, the people, the world. Like for us, the sea is the entire planet. It's all of the countries and nations and people on the internet, and people going to church, and people having dinner with their families. It's all the tumultuous, the waves, all the beings of our lives and our day-to-day. And from that, the beasts are arising. So the metaphor is saying that like these dangerous, scary forces within humanity are arising up out of humanity. And what they're doing here is they're using the sea at this point. It is already a thousands of years long held tradition that the sea is this biblical illusion of chaos and Leviathan. And here they're advancing that definition to include the specificity of human civilization and the specific beasts. And then they're using the biblical illusion, so readers like ourselves and you will look at this and see Greece, we'll see Rome, your discomfort with understanding that metaphor is the purpose of the metaphor. The purpose of the metaphor is to chew on it exactly as you requested us to do, because it's to understand that relationship. I think I got that right.
Good,
Yeah.
yes.
And in Revelation 17:15, it says that the waters which you saw where the Lord sits are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. So that's the waters, that's the sea.
Okay, so here, because as we're going to look at Daniel chapter 7 and then continue, we will see something again very important, that the kind of understanding that Daniel was given, Nebuchadnezzar did not have. And I'll read you why, okay? And I'm reading from Matthew chapter 13. Why Daniel was given a far deeper insight, and especially as it applies to us living at the end time, because the book of Daniel was sealed and open for the end time. So here,
What's
I'll read
the
from,
verse?
pardon?
What's the verse?
I'm reading from Matthew 13, verse 10. And the disciples came and said to him, why do you speak to them in parables? Okay, the principle. He answered and said to them, because it has been given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it has not been given. Well, did God not give them?
He gave.
He did.
But they chose not to.
We'll read it right
Correct,
here.
John.
Yeah, we'll read it right here.
Yeah.
It's here, okay? Because the whole equal access thing then gonna fail. But here, Jesus is saying, because it has been given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. That's what was revealed to Daniel, and we'll see why. But to them it has not been given, to the rest of the Jews, okay? That were rejecting Jesus. For whoever has, to him more will be given, and he will have an abundance. But whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken away from him. So what had ended up with Nebuchadnezzar, and we saw very clearly how he acknowledged God through that vision, through Daniel revealing the vision, but he turned around and resorted to the demonic method of dealing with people. He resorted to that and dealt with people with the demonic thing. So whatever was given to him, the understanding, it became what? For whoever has to him more will be given, but he'll have an abundance. But whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken away from him. God didn't take it away from him. The reason it was taken away is because he chose to reject the truth. And that applies to all. Go ahead, John.
Well, that can also be in the parables about the seeds, the sower and the seeds.
Yes,
Mhm.
same principle applies.
Because, the first incident in that parable is that some of the seeds are scattered and the birds in the air eat it. It doesn't go into the person's heart,
Yes,
and then, but it doesn't go into their heart because they choose. Everybody chooses.
very good. Okay, so here, therefore I speak to them in parable, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. And in them the prophecy of Isaiah is fulfilled, which says, keep this applying to Daniel and to Nebuchadnezzar. Hearing you will hear and shall not understand, and seeing you will see and not perceive. For the hearts of this people have grown dull, their ears are hard of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, lest they should understand with their hearts and turn, so that I should heal them. Now he tells to the disciples. Okay, so in a way, now we can say he's saying this to Daniel, verse 16. But blessed are your eyes, Daniel, compared to Nebuchadnezzar. Here he's applying it to the apostles, of course. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For assuredly I say to you, that many prophets and righteous men desired to see what you see and did not see it, and to hear what you hear and did not hear it. What it is telling us here, that Jesus is the ultimate revelation of God, the truth. Okay? So when we listen to him and him alone, we are fulfilling what even the Old Testament prophets and people did receive. So with that in mind, I want to go back and look at this passage in in John chapter 5, okay? You have sent to John John the Baptist, you have sent to John and he has borne witness to the truth. Yet I do not receive testimony from men, but I say these things that you may be saved. In verse 34, when Jesus is saying about John the Baptist, and John the Baptist was the forerunner of Jesus, God appointed John the Baptist to come and prepare the way for Jesus. Okay? So here what Jesus is saying, yet I do not receive testimony from men. Who's he referring to? John the Baptist. But God appointed John the Baptist to give the testimony. But I say these things to you that you may be saved. He was the burning and shining lamp, and you are willing for a time to rejoice in his light. But I have a greater witness than John's. For the works which the Father has given to me to finish, that very works that I do bear witness of me, that the Father has sent me. Can you grasp the profound significance of what Jesus has just stated here? See, even though John the Baptist was coming and proclaiming Jesus Christ, but what Jesus is stating here, is he rejecting John the Baptist? No. But what is Jesus' emphasis? Even though John the Baptist was sent from God, John the Baptist was supposed to witness of Jesus, but here what Jesus is stating, that I do not receive witness from men. He's referring to John the Baptist. But when he turns around and says, but I have a greater witness than John, for the works which the Father has given me to finish, the very works that I do bear witness of me, that the Father has sent me. Any thought? What is Jesus saying here? Anybody? Any thought? So the two witnesses, he could have said John the Baptist is one witness, but he said, no, the Father is my witness, right? So what Jesus is stating here, dear ones, is so important, so profound, that he's saying that I am the true person with the truth, because my witness is the God of the universe. the true God of the universe is my witness. Even though John is supposed to be there, but my witness to confirm that everything I have taught, everything I have revealed, everything I have done is the witness from the true God of the universe, not any false God. So any person that is believing in God, any person that is believing in God, but has not taken the witness of Jesus Christ, they don't know the true God. Go ahead, Denise.
Yeah, because he also said that he didn't, I'm paraphrasing, but he didn't entrust himself to men
Yes.
because he knew what was in men. So men's witness cannot be trusted because it's like the waves of the sea, right? It's chaos. But God's witness can be trusted. So he could trust God's witness about him, and God witnessed about him at his baptism, and he witnessed about him at the transfiguration, both times.
God witnessed a lot more than twice.
Well, probably, yeah.
No, because the entire gospel from the Old Testament all the way through the New is
Yeah,
one
everything's there.
prophetic set
Yeah.
of interlocking keys. And the entire book of John is a temporal lock and key to check the knowledge of those who try to preach for them to understand the non-temporality.
Yeah.
So if I understand what we're talking about here correctly, when Jesus is saying God is witnessing, we can almost translate it, language is compression, artifacts are inherent, darkness can breed from them, we're humans, but we can almost translate that to Jesus saying, God is my witness, look at all the prophecies I'm fulfilling, and look at all the prophecies I will fulfill. No human can do this thing because the human self that we are is temporal, and the God is non-temporal. So my witness is all of the non-temporal coincidences that we can clearly state as miracle.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just meant like in terms of actually speaking. No, but you're totally right.
It was just that made it bounce off my
Everything fell
idea.
into place. Everything he fit into every prophecy.
And it's kind of the same way, like in Western law that has evolved from these ideas, we need two witnesses, but we can also take divine providence. And divine providence is used in law as an overabundance of evidence coming from not any individual, but the circumstances as a whole. Those are both binding values, and that seems to probably be where that might derive from, is the passages we're going over now.
Yes. So keeping in mind again what we are looking at in Daniel, and I want to complete this portion from John chapter 5. Go ahead, John.
No, I didn't have anything. Ozzie, go ahead.
So Jesus again saying, and the Father himself who sent me has testified of me. So why I'm going and emphasizing on this is because of what Rashmi brought out and how we develop this thing further is Nebuchadnezzar and Daniel, and how important Daniel's vision is. We're going to see the significance, the importance, the profoundness of what God gave Daniel and how it applies to us living at this end time. And I'm going to state this. We will see in all of this, in Daniel's vision from here onwards, because Babylon is finished up to Daniel chapter 6, right? Chapter 7 starts a new phase. Babylon is gone. This new phase starts. He still brings in the four kingdoms, but there's something that God has given Daniel that applies to us, and I'll state it here now. We will see why the 7-day Sabbath is so important. And I'll state it this way, okay? Tragically, there are, according to certain statistics that has been given, the largest group of Sabbath keepers are which group? Seventh-day Adventists. Then comes the Jews. Then comes within the Protestant faith, because there is within the Protestant faith also some Seventh-day Sabbath keepers.
Yes.
But the significance we will see as we study from verse 7 and onward, how important this Sabbath is going to be played out, especially at the end time. So I want to finish reading this. So the Father himself who sent me has testified of me, You have neither heard his voice at any time nor seen his form. So what he's saying, that he is the truth. Nobody else has seen God, even though Moses saw God, there's people in the Old Testament that saw God, but nobody knew God the way Jesus Christ knew God. Why? Because he came forth from God. No human being came forth from God. Every other, except for Jesus Christ, every other human being was fallible.
Is it
Go ahead.
is it correct to say he came forth from God? Because there's Christophanies, there's all of these non-temporal instances of the warrior at Jericho, there's all of the burning bush, there's all these forms of Jesus before he is born as a man.
Yes.
And there are still to this day forms of Jesus that
You're
are.
taking me on a path now that, okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's very. I don't know the answer to this because as you speak about the end times, as we move through this transitionary period, we're dealing with all sorts of definitional issues between, like, for example, the filioque is really a big detail about whether or not, like, God and Jesus, whether Jesus is begotten or whether Jesus is from, and like how the Holy Spirit, like, these are highly technical words that, like, a bunch of Protestants on the far side of civilization are probably going to not be able to do quite well.
But
without
Jesus
trusting
himself
Jesus.
said, didn't he say, I came forth from the Father?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So the significance, the importance of knowing that is what you brought out is very true, because Jesus was what? Before his incarnation, he was what? In the Old Testament. I mean, you just said it. Joshua represents.
The warrior Jericho, the burning bush, the
See,
Christophany.
Jesus was there already. But when it talks in the New Testament that he came forth from the Father, ask, why do you think it is stating this way? Because Islam is using that to deny Jesus. They're saying he came forth from the Father. He's not.
Islam's using it, not the Quran.
Pardon?
The Quran disagrees with Islam.
Yes.
Yeah, so the Islam is saying that that's a big deal, but the Quran is saying it's not.
No, the Quran is stating that Jesus did not come forth from the Father. He could not have.
Okay, that's actually a major problem in Islam right now. Most of the sects of Islam are contradicting their own texts. It's called the Islamic dilemma, and they're dealing with that because the Quran doesn't even say that, but 1,000 years of Islam does.
Yes, I mean there's a lot involved there, but what I'm focusing on is when it states that Jesus came forth from the Father here in the New Testament. And I'll read you verse 37 of John 5 to see. And the Father himself who sent me has testified of me. You have neither heard his voice nor seen his form at any time. But you do not have his word abiding in you, because whom he sent, him you do not believe. God the Father sent Jesus. And you don't know, you search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life. And these are they which testify of me, but you're not willing to come to me that you may have life. What Denise had brought up. I do not receive honor from men. But even includes, he's saying John the Baptist in a sense. But I know you that you do not have the love of God in you. I have come in my Father's name, and you do not receive me. If another comes in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe who receive honor from one another and do not seek the honor that comes from the only God? Do not think that I shall accuse you to the Father. There is one who accuses you, Moses, in whom you trust. For if you believe Moses, you will believe me, for he wrote about me. But if you do not believe his writings, how will you believe my words? Okay? So Moses clearly stated in Deuteronomy chapter 15 that God would send you a prophet like me at the end time. You make sure that you what? Listen to him. So what Jesus, go ahead, Pastor.
Sorry, Pastor Grant, sorry to interrupt you like this.
No, that's fine.
Jesus also is trying to bring or reinforce the Jewish culture here,
Yes,
because for Jews they'll be able to understand the sender motive that was present in their own culture,
yes,
and that they were not now accepting. If you look at Moses, when he's saying, what am I going to say? Then say, who sent? Then yes, I am
yes,
who sent you.
yes,
So this sender motive or like business dealings of Jewish people was as such that they have incorporated that even till to date, and most of the businesses that we do today, we kind of replicate what the Jewish system has been, whether it be business of law, education system, or even the business that we run each day. One good example is the real estate one. I've talked about this before, and how when we sign off or we send our real estate agent, and then if I'm selling the house, then I don't have to be present with my real estate agent. I've signed off, I've sent him, and he represents me until the very end,
yes,
and the transaction takes place, and you don't even see the owner. You don't have to see the owner. You have owned, like you live in this house, you don't know who sold it to, but the agent was then. And
yes,
this real estate, the business that is still going on, it is taken from the Jewish system and it's still so successful, it's still being implemented. Now, Jesus, when he says, who sent me, and he's exactly saying the same thing, that I am the agent.
yes,
I have been, the authority has been given. So he's actually self-identifying who he is in this case.
yes,
And it's just, the Jewish people will understand him better. For us now, after, like, first culturally we're different, and also it's the time from the time when Jesus was there speaking with these people, and there's a time gap as well. But culturally, what he was trying to reinforce to these people is the same thing that a real estate agent who might want to sell a house, and the buyer will say, no, I don't want to deal with you, I want to see the owner. And that kind of confusion is trying to clarify it here.
yes, very good.
Can I add
Go
something
ahead.
to that?
There were only two angels that were sent. God had, on the ark, you had the two covering cherubs. And we see that Gabriel was sent, like they were God's messengers. That's the position Lucifer used to have. He was a messenger of God.
He was one of the anointed.
He was
cherubs.
one of the messengers. When he left, Gabriel took his place. And we see in many verses in the Bible that Gabriel was sent. Now, Jesus says, I don't know how many times, over 50 times, I'm the one sent. I'm the one sent. So I know I probably shouldn't open this can of worms.
Go ahead.
I like cans of worms.
Okay, well, from my studies, I believe that Michael is Jesus. That Michael, even though he is an angel, like Jesus takes on angel form, we know that. He takes on human form.
Christophanies are very confusing.
So as Michael, the covering cherub, he was together with Lucifer. And that's where the whole thing started between the two of them. Lucifer came up with this tree of the knowledge of good and evil thing, and Michael did not go for it. And it wasn't until later that the angels came to know that Jesus was the creator. Because in the book of Hebrews, it says, and to whom of the angels did he ever call, you are my son, today I have begotten you. You see what I mean? So before, like when Lucifer rebelled against God's law of agape love, it revealed who Jesus was.
See, what I'm going to do sometime is I'm going to do a very special either Sabbath class study or sermon on this very issue of Michael and Jesus. I will do that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, listen.
I did want to say one thing about that. This is something we're dealing with right now as humanity, as the seed, as the individual people within the seed. We are finally getting to that point where non-temporality, temporality, all of these concepts, these were completely alien concepts 2,000 years ago when Jesus came out. And like the book of John is very difficult to parse, because some of what you're talking about, how with the angels and all that kind of stuff, those are very interesting and stimulating concepts. but there's some confusion there because the angels, Lucifer, all of the beings, they don't exist within temporality. They were brought into being in a moment, fully formed with all knowledge, and that knowledge is outside of time. So I think it's good to work through those kind of thoughts and to wrangle and wrestle with the understanding of the biblical, but we are only just barely becoming as like meat apes, as like gorillas. We're only just beginning to be able to understand the ramifications of what it means to be talking and thinking about things that are non-temporal. So I just wanted to like put a safety blanket around that. I find it very interesting.
We have to close, go
I
ahead.
think, the
With the
Bible
last
reveals,
thought, go ahead.
whatever the Bible reveals and we study it, that's where we get it from.
No,
Nowhere
but we're
else.
gonna-
Just the Bible.
Jesus is the ultimate revelation, so Jesus will give us. that
Yeah.
He has given it, and his high priestly work involves him still completing what he did at the
His
cross.
miracles taught us non-temporality.
Can I ask, Rebecca, can you close in prayer for us, please? Amen, thank you. Thanks, everyone.
You still didn't